Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for inquiring about this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we're discussing a watch launched in 2018 by manufacturer Schwarz Etienne of La Chaux-de-Fonds. They're not terribly well known in the industry, except if you're going to make a watch, because they are one of the top white label watch manufacturers in the business. From David Nagant to Ming and many, many others, Schwarz Etienne has a purchase on the independent watchmaking scene that very few can rival. Maybe only Kari Voutilainen has as much reach across multiple brands as Schwarz Etienne does as a manufacturer and supplier. But Schwarz Etienne, which was founded by Schwarz and Etienne back in 1902, also makes its own watches. And this is a great example. The 2018 Schwarz Etienne Roma manufacture, 42 millimeters in stainless steel. That's the diameter. It's 12.4 millimeters thick and from lug tip to lug tip, a relatively reasonable 48.1 millimeters with a nice broad 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference. You can see it wears beautifully. It's a big watch, make no mistake. 42 for a dress watch is sizable, but it wears its bulk elegantly, partly because it is so thin and broad. It has a saucer-like presence on the wrist. You can see down the barrel, the lugs are not at the edge of my wrist, so I could recommend this watch for a wrist of 15 centimeters circumference or larger. And yes, it will fit underneath a cuff. There's your over-the-top shot. Taking a look at the strap, it is medium rectangular scale alligator leather in a semi-gloss finish. You can see it has a sheer cut edge, a monotone stitch, and then on the bottom, has a wonderful suede material for a silky feel against the wrist. Schwarz Etienne of La Chaux-de-Fonds, supplier of movements to many. Again, everyone from Ming to GOS, David Nagant, many others rely on either Schwarz Etienne movements or a full watch fabrication by Schwarz Etienne. If you want to make a watch today, you don't go to Jaeger-LeCoultre, you go to Schwarz Etienne. They are now the watchmaker's watchmaker. Taking a quick look at the buckle, we have a combination of satin and polish, and then a twin trigger release system, so it's a double fold. You can see that there is engine turning and polish internally, satin and polish externally. Thanks to the full deployment clasp, we have a little bit of extra insurance against accidentally dropping our watches. The case is handsome and a little bit old-fashioned, as there's a sharp break between the lug profile and the case band. They're not integrated Portuguese or Calatrava style. Now, we also have a little bit of a fluting on the shoulder of the lugs. Everything's in high polish. You can see how sharp is that break between lug and case. And then a bezel that has a domed profile, and then inboard of that, a much flatter conical profile with the Schwarz Etienne branded crown. Now, what's fascinating here is, though the watch is 50 meters water resistant, it also has a screw-down crown, and that's usually my threshold for acknowledging a watch's ability to be surface swimmable. And I believe on a different strap, due to the 50-meter rating and the screw-down crown, this watch could be used for surface swimming. All stainless steel, so it's fairly durable for a dress watch. We've got a couple of different finishes on the dial. We have these lovely radially arrayed silver transferred Arabic numerals. Outboard of that, we have a silver railroad track for reading the minutes. We have a little rosette pattern inside the small seconds, and then a spectacular guilloche rayon center dial, and that's real guilloche, not the stamped kind. In each case, an upscale refinement for a watch. You can see the Schwarz Etienne logo is applied. The hands at center are, I would call the modified alpha style, faceted down the center for better contrast against the dial base. This is a no date, and you can see we have applique faceted hour indices at 3, 6, and 9. We have a hacking or stop seconds function, so you pull the crown out. Now you've stopped the seconds hand. You can use that to synchronize to a known accurate reference time. The setting system is very precise, as there's very little dead angle in the crown or the angle of displacement before the hand starts to move. It's almost immediate. Again, very precise, deeply impressive. And so is the movement. Now, Schwarz Etienne is not just a manufacturer. There are a lot of companies out there making wheels, bridges, and plates, but part of what sets this company apart is that it also makes some of the tough parts. Like Moser, for example, Schwarz Etienne makes its own balances, hairsprings, and escapements. And I'm going to stop the balance wheel. So I don't know how well you can see this, but the spokes of the wheel are actually the Schwarz Etienne logo. Now we have a flat hairspring, we have a standard Swiss lever escapement, but what's significant here is that the escapement, the hairspring, and the balance all made in-house by Schwarz Etienne. And it is a free-sprung variable inertia balance. As you can see, we have a fixed stud holder, and all of the timing adjustments are using the bolts in the balance to change its rate. So this is a very rugged and modern free-sprung architecture. Manual wind. Push the crown back in. You can see we have 2 ratchet wheels and 2 mainspring barrels. The power reserve is a superb 96 hours. The beat rate is 21,600 vibrations per hour. All this is adjusted in chronometer style 5 positions. And it pivots on 25 joules. Thanks to the twin barrels in series, we get a very even torque release. And the thing that is always important to acknowledge about 2 barrels is it's not necessarily there for a long power reserve. It's there because having 2 barrels in series with staggered mainspring torque curves means you get a very even torque release to the escapement from max wind to minimum wind. So you get very consistent amplitude and timekeeping because thanks to the 2-phased mainsprings, the torque curve is very, very flat. Now you can also see that the finish is excellent. We'll get close and you can see the finger train leading down from the second barrel. So you've got your great wheel, third wheel, fourth wheel, escape, and then you've got a secondary bridge underneath the balance for the lever. You can see that the anglage, I'll do my best to show you here, it's of a high grade. There we go. You can really see the mirrored bevels on the edge of the bridges. You can also see that the Côte de Genève are particularly attractive with a sharp color gradient. All screw heads are black polished with chamfered slots in circumference. The ratchet wheels atop the barrels are solarized with polished teeth on the edge. We have this lovely extended swan's neck style click and click spring inspired by the pocket watch era, and the movement's properly sized to fit the case, which is a refinement I always like to see because that hand in glove quality is the hallmark of a true manufacturer, to be able to design the entire watch to appear coherent and operate that way. And then you can see there's media blasting, sandblasting on the base plate with satination on the wheels. So reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this Schwarz Etienne Roma manufacturer.